President Muhammad Buhari approves the use of all 200 Naira note for 60 days.
This is freedom.
National Hajj Commission of Nigeria fixes deadline for Hajj remittance. Kano State government earmarks 100 million Naira to repair 800 boreholes. And on the foreign scene, Rwanda accuses Democratic Republic of Congo soldiers of attack on army post. Good evening, you're listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Zara Zanna. Today is the 16th of February 2023, and now the news in full. President Muhammad Buhari has directed the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to release all 200 Naira notes into circulation to coexist with new 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira banknotes for 60 days. He, however, said old 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira banknotes are no longer legal tender in Nigeria. The president, who made this known in a nationwide broadcast today, directed the CBN to allow the new notes available to all citizens. The president apologized to Nigerians over the difficulty experienced in the implementation of the Naira redesign policy. The president lamented that the currency in circulation grew from 1.4 trillion Naira in 2015 when he assumed office to 3.3 trillion Naira at the end of 2022. He, however, said 2.1 trillion Naira of the cash in circulation have been retrieved since the launch of the Naira redesign policy of the federal government on October 26, 2022. The president also stated in his national broadcast that he urges every citizen to go out to vote for their candidates of choice without fear, because security shall be provided and your vote shall count.
I urge every citizen, therefore, to go out to vote for their candidates of choice without fear, because security shall be provided.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has restated that the deadline for the remittance of 50% deposit for 2022 allocation remains is February 28, failure of which the affected states would forfeit their allocation or reduced. NACON said the remittance to the commission in this past week has been abysmal, and payment to service providers in Saudi Arabia remains the biggest assurance that Nigeria would participate in this year's Hajj. This was contained in a statement signed by Assistant Director, Information and Publications, NACON, Musa Ubandawaki, in Abuja today. The statement said that it is necessary to kick things off by their calendar of events. Final remittance to the Commission should be concluded by February 28 in order to conclude their arrangements on time, as they didn't want to give room to lapses. NACON assures all stakeholders that no stone will be left unturned to make sure that the 2023 Hajj arrangements and operations is hitch-free. The Executive and Accountability Kaja has said that there is need for stakeholders to advocate for the Northern youths, the implementation of National Youth Police. Kabiru Ibrahim Dakata stated this during the capacity building training on youth policy development that held at Mumbai House today. Dakata said that one of the challenges Northern youths are facing concerning unempowerment is the lack of knowledge about the youth policy development.
To strengthen social justice reforms for youth through effective advocacy for the implementation of the National Youth Policy, especially the areas that the cluster is working on. That is three major pillars of the National Youth Policy. They include productive workforce and sustainable economic engagement of youth, participation, inclusiveness, and equitable opportunities for all youth, and lastly, promotive and productive environment for youth development.
Correspondent Shamsia Farid Bello reports that the program was organized by the Youth Development Advocacy Cluster Center for Awareness on Justice and Accountability, together with other organizations that are cluster members. On sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria are set to resume campaign for the African Nations Cup qualifier against Wild Dogs of Guinea-Bissau in a match day 3 fixture slated to hold at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja on March 24th. Muhammad Sani Uba has details of this and other sports updates.
The 2013 African champions, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, have shown great resolve to return to the continental showpiece 9 months after their record-breaking outing against Sao Tome and Principe in June 2022. Similarly, Super Falcons head coach Randy Waldrum believe his side will learn from their latest defeat to Mexico. The 9-time African champions extended their losing streak to 6 straight games after going down to a 1-0 defeat to host Mexico in their first game at the Four Nation Invitational Tournament, Tag Revelation Cup, in the early hours of today. The Falcons will hope to bounce back from their defeat when they face Colombia in their second game on Saturday. The Revelation Cup serves as preparation for Falcons ahead of the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. In another update, basketball great Michael Jordan will make a record-breaking $10 million donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation to mark his 60th birthday later this week. Jordan's donation to Make-A-Wish, which aims to fulfill the wishes of children aged between 2 and 18 battling with a critical illness, is the largest in Arizona-based non-profit 43-year history. The 6-time NBA championship winner has had a long association with the non-profit, first working with the organization in 1989. A statement from Make-A-Wish said the 59-year-old billionaire hoped his gesture will inspire others to donate to the foundation. And on tennis, British #1 Cameron Norrie avoided a shock defeat by Facundo Diaz Acosta as he fought back to reach the quarterfinals at the Argentina Open. World number 12 Norrie edged a close decided set in a tiebreak to win 4-6, 7-5, 7-6, 8-6. Muhammad San Uba, Freedom Radio.
The Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com, or call us through this number, 082444
Musa, me kake nema a cikin kitchen?
Masoyiyata, ina son cokali in sha magani.
Masoyina, ka ɗauki comics kawai, ka yaga, sha, ka samu sauki.
Haka ne fa, ku yi amfani da comics ma duk kai tari. Comics yana da dextromethorphan da guaifenesin. Kawai ku yaga ku sha, ku samu sauki, yana kulele in ka sha. Aha, na samu sauki yanzu. Ina son comics. Comics, Company Orange Drugs Limited, da ke yin kasuwanci da dilancinta. Maganin zai iya saka kasala. In alamar tarin bata tsaya ba bayan kwana 3, ka ga likitanka. Comics yana kulele.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. The Kano state government has earmarked over 100 million naira to repair 8,000 hand boreholes in 8 metropolitan local government areas of the state. The managing director, Kano Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency, RWASA, Comrade Salisu Bichi, made this known during a press conference held in the state today. Salisu Bichi said the rationale behind the exercise is to ease the scarcity of water faced by some communities across the state.
Water is alive. The governor of Kano State, His Excellency, look how the people of Kano State suffering of scarcity of water. Look this department and assist us to go and reface some of the boreholes inside the Gwale, Dalapage, Nasara, Taruni, Kumbozo, and Ungogo. We are going to reface about 800 boreholes in that local government.
He added that they commenced the exercise today and is expected to be completed within a short period for the benefit of the general public.
It will not take a long time. Anytime, 5 days to 10 days, inshallah, we are going to see that anywhere in the local government, we are going to cover all those hundreds. From today, inshallah, the scarcity of water inside the Kano municipal is being a history. Immediately when we finish this one, we are going to go inside the urban area. After a phase, we are going to get a new one.
Correspondent Awal Hassan Fagir reports that the agency also said that it will take appropriate actions against the borehole vandalizers. Center for Information and Technology and Development, CITAD, called on the state government to domesticate the law of Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, VAP. The program manager of gender-based violence of the center, Zainab Aminu, made this call while briefing the press today on their findings for gender-based violence reported cases in the month of November 2022 to January 2023 through their monitoring and reporting app developed by CITAD. Ms. Aminu said within the stipulated period, they received 171 cases of gender-based violence, which 14 of it were rape, whereby 12 of the victims are girls and 2 are males, and 16 online harassment and 10 domestic violence.
We received a total of 171 cases of gender-based violence through our monitoring app. 14 of these cases were rape, where 12 of the victims are girls and 2 male victims. 61 of the cases were sexual harassment, 67 sexual abuse, 16 online harassments, and 3 was sexual blackmail, while 10 was for wife battering. We hope the government will set up public awareness.
The center also called on the government to set up public awareness campaigns and sensitization, which would involve men and boys as part of the solution to promote non-gender violence. For tomorrow's weather forecast in some cities in Nigeria and parts of Niger Republic, here's the report.
Kano tomorrow morning will experience a clear skies and a gentle breeze at an average temperature of 13 degrees Celsius and later increase to 18 degrees Celsius with sunny intervals and a moderate breeze. Katsina is expected to have a clear and a gentle breeze at an average temperature of 15 degrees Celsius and later increase to 18 degrees Celsius with sunny interval and a moderate breeze. Kaduna will experience a clear skies and a moderate breeze at an average temperature of 16 degrees Celsius and later increase to 20 degrees Celsius with sunny intervals and a moderate breeze. Abuja is expected to have the same weather condition at an average temperature of 22 degrees Celsius and later change to 28 degrees Celsius with sunny interval and moderate breeze. Lagos will experience a clear skies and light wind at an average temperature of 23 degrees Celsius and later change to 28 degrees Celsius with sunny interval and light wind. Moving to Niger Republic, Maradi is expected to have a clear sky and a moderate breeze at an average temperature of 16 degrees Celsius and later increase to 21 degrees Celsius with sunny interval and a fresh breeze, while Zindar will experience a clear skies and gentle breeze at an average temperature of 14 degrees Celsius and later change to 19 degrees Celsius with sunny interval and a moderate breeze. Aisha Ahmad Uda, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, Rwanda's army has said its troops briefly exchanged fires with soldiers from the Democratic Republic of the Congo at a border post, as tensions continue to spike between the neighbors. Abdulkarim Mohammed Abdulkarim reports.
In a statement, Kigali said that 12 to 14 Congolese soldiers entered the neutral zone near the western district of Rusuzi and opened fire at a Rwandan border post in an act of provocation. Their security forces responded and the Congolese soldiers withdrew. There were no casualties on the Rwandan side and the situation is calm. Kinshasa has denied entering the neutral zone and said there were clashes between its military and a group of bandits near the border in Bukavu. Meanwhile, hospitals in Aleppo do not have enough room for new patients in the wake of last week's devastating earthquake. A doctor in the Syrian city stated today. At the Al-Razi hospital, there are too many beds to fit into the wards. They reach end-to-end through corridors and into the chilly courtyard. Dr. Nizar Suleiman, the head of orthopedics, said they were not able to discharge patients from the hospital even after treating them. The city is damaged and there were no places for them to go. More than 4,400 deaths and 7,600 injuries have been reported in northwestern Syria since a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck neighboring southern Turkey on 6 February. Abdulkarim Muhammad Abdulkarim, Freedom Radio.
And with that, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team and Izar Zenna, thank you for listening.
Freedom.
Pop.
Freedom. 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 Freedom.
Freedom Radio.
Tuma da labaru kenan game da rahotanni daga sashenmu na labaru da lamarin yau da kullum cikin harshen Turanci mai taken Freedom Global News da fatan mai sauraro. Za a kasance da mu da misalin karfe 7 idan Allah ya nuna mana inda za ku ji mu ta cikin shirin labarun wato a cikin harshen Hausa mai taken Freedom wato labaran mu leƙa magano da fatan mai sauraro ana ci gaba da kasancewa cikin ƙoshin lafiya. A nan kuma iyalan marigayi Alhaji Garba na Dada da na Lawan Yahaya Fage na farin cikin gayyatar 'yan uwa da abokan arzika zuwa wajen ɗaurin auren 'ya'yansu. Wato 'ya'yansu Alhaji Bello Garba na Dada wato Babangida da amaryarsa Hassan wato Amina Hassan Ibrahim wanda za a yi ranar Juma'a 17 ga watan da muke ciki da misalin karfe 1 na rana a masallacin Bilal da ke Karkasara. Sanarwa ce daga injiniya Adamu Rabiu na nan gidan Radio Freedom.
Ga shirin su mai kyau mai jin sai za ya karu, an kira Freedom su taho ba sa tsaya ba. Kwalliya tana mai da kuɗi na sarulinta, wanda dai ya kawo maganar sa'a sakata. Manaja da darakta sun tsaya a kanta, su suke da lambar farko na sa'a jera. Da shiri na laba.
Jama'a albishir, shin ko kun yi rijistar katin zaɓe na PBC? Idan kuwa haka ne, an fara rabawa. Je ka ofishin INEC na ƙaramar hukumar ku domin karɓar naka daga 12 ga watan Disamba 2022 zuwa 22 ga watan Janairun 2023. Idan kuma mutum yana da nakasa, an zo da kyakkyawan tsarin zaɓe cikin sauƙi. Hukumar ta samar da kayan aikin zaɓe na PW domin taimakawa kamar katin jefa ƙuri'a na Braille Ballot Guide don jagora ga makafi. Form na EC30E PW Poster domin kurame masu jefa ƙuri'a. Har ila yau an samar da wani gilashi ga masu karancin hangen nesa da zabiya domin kada ƙuri'a da kansu. INEC za ta sanya ido kan zaben nakasassu domin tabbatar da jami'in zaɓe ya ɗauki bayananku akan fom na EC40H a ranar zaɓe. Yi amfani da waɗannan tanade-tanade kuma ku fito da lambobinku domin zaɓar ɗan takarar da kuke so. Saboda haka hanzarta ku karɓi ƙuri'arku. Wannan sako ne daga ƙungiyoyin ƙawance na Inclusive Friends Association na Board Ability tare da goyon baya wato United Nations Development Program da Yaga Africa.
Gashi kowa ya shirin cin abinci. Mama za ta kawo jollof sai.
Kai Sani. La, wayo ya ƙuri mama.
Hello, dan Allah zan iya order jollof a kawo yanzu?
Yawwa, mama ta faso lamarin abincin mu ya hallara.
Mama, ni mana tana da Coca-Cola.
Kawai zauna ka ci abinci.
Ku samar da lokaci da ba za ku taɓa mantawa ba domin haɗa gida da Coca-Cola mai sanyi shine babban haɗin sihiri. Coca-Cola, sihiri na ainihi.
Ya ku al'ummar Najeriya, abin nema ya samu. Sakamakon buƙatar da jama'a musamman ma na lungunan karkara suka yi ma babban bankin Najeriya CBN yanzu ya ƙara tsawon lokacin da za a daina amfani da tsofaffin takardun kuɗaɗen Naira 1,500 da 200 daga ranar 31 ga watan Janairun shekara ta 2023 zuwa 10 ga watan Fabrairun shekara ta 2023. Wannan wata dama ce da za a iya amfani da ita domin kai ajiyar tsofaffin takardun kuɗaɗe ko kuma musanya tsoffin da sabbi fil. Bugu da ƙari babban banki na Najeriya ya sake sauraron jama'a inda ya ji kukansu ya ƙara bayar da wata dama ta ƙarin kwanaki 7 domin waɗanda